Good evening, everybody. We're going to get started here in a few seconds. We'll give it another half a minute or so for people to jump on, and we'll get started with today's video, POW Algo Alerts Overview. Oh wow, tons of people just joining. We went from like 0 to a couple dozen, so thanks everybody for joining. We're going to get started here in about 15 seconds. All right, welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with POW Group. Today is Monday, it's June 9th. Didn't get a video out today. I've been busy doing POW Algo alerts work and just getting everything all basically configured and testing some of the alerts. I've got pretty much everything configured for the alerts. I just need to test everything, make sure it's all coming well through email functionality and through the Slack community channel as well. And the Oilers are bombing this game so far. It's an absolute joke so far. But we'll get back to the game in due course here, but not missing anything for the moment. Before we get to it, make sure to smash like, help support me in the channel. And if you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And can't remember if I said it already or not, but not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. You can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPOW. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. I'm not sure if the chat is working. For some reason, the chat looks different on my screen here. Somebody could just type into the chat, make sure it's working. But yeah, for some reason, I'm not able to see it. So hopefully it is working. If someone could please type something in the chat, that'd be great. But I hope you're having a fantastic evening so far. We're going to jump into it. Been getting a lot of questions as well, how I'm feeling, so I really appreciate all the support. Thanks, Brian, for posting a comment there. Hello, hello. It works. Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Philly. All right, we'll jump right into it. Yeah, again, people have been asking me how I've been doing. Really appreciate all of the well wishes and concern and support. Been feeling a lot better, actually. Obviously, you know, in terms of energy and whatnot, but in terms of my ribs, like, you know, you got 6 broken ribs, it's going to take 2 or 3 months to heal. So that, you know, component is going to be a long time coming, but overall feeling a lot better. I had a concussion as well, so just a brutal week, but like I said, finally kind of feeling back to myself. And crypto's been gaining some momentum here recently. Bitcoin is over $110,000, which was a surprise to the end of the weekend. And I've been saying for a while now, XRP, you know, it's just any week now, and we're going to be in all-time highs. And here we are about pretty much $1 away from hitting new all-time highs. And we have a nice, strong hourly uptrend at the moment. We had a 4-hour bull flag as well on XRP and on Bitcoin as well, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But the purpose of this video is to take a look at the different POW Algo alerts that I have configured so far. I've been working really hard over the last, well, really the last couple of years on it, and really been focusing on it as of the last few weeks, and I've been making some great headway with it, all based on PineScript and TradingView alerts. So we'll jump into kind of what that entails, how many alerts are going to be, what they are, how to use them, and what to expect if you did sign up for the alert service. And if you want to sign up for that, you can just go to pursuitofwealthgroup.com or powgroup.ca. All of our memberships are there. Also, you can try gold access free for 7 days. You'll get a pop-up here, or you can just click on the free trial. That'll take you to the promotions page as well. But essentially, you can come check out the POW Group private community free for 7 days. You don't even need a credit card. And this is what you'll have access to. So we have different channels. All of these channels are basically using automated news fetching, so you don't have to go and look at multiple different websites anymore, right? Everything's filtered in here for you. So we've got PowBot MJ News, you got commodity news, crypto news, Forex news, general news. All of this stuff gets filtered in from dozens of different publishers, and it gets filtered in, fetches it automatically, and goes into a specific channel for that specific topic. So it's a one-stop shop, essentially. I even got ChatGPT functionality built directly into the community as well. So like I said, it's a one-stop shop. We've got we've got over 50 members in the community now, where you can bounce ideas off of before you hit the buy or sell button. Again, we're not financial advisors, but it's just the more eyes we have on the market, the better. And we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And there's so many people in the POW Group private community now that are really starting to get it. And it takes a year or so before start to understand this. Like when you're looking at charts and you're looking at technical analysis, it really is like learning a new language. And speaking of learning a new language, I've been working on these algo alerts, and you have to use programming language to do that. So I've been really focusing on that, honing in on that, and seeing a lot of great feedback from the community on it as well. But obviously we have different channels for market, crypto, MJ, etc. And now is our latest edition, which is the POW Algo alerts. And eventually you're going to see, it looks like it looks like it is working. So that's great to see. So we've got some POW Algo alerts functionality coming in. So it's slowly starting to trigger. And I'm going to go over all of the alerts. I've got 15 custom alerts now. And Mr. Mankey's in the house. So welcome. First VIP member to join the stream. Thanks for joining. But yeah, we'll dive into the alerts here in just a second. I just want to give you an overview. So this is the POW Group private community, and you can sign up for that if you so choose. You don't have to sign up for the POW Group private community to get the algo alerts. We're going to build in email functionality as well. So if you want to just get it emailed directly to you, then so be it. If you want to have email access and directly in Slack, you'll be able to join our community. Like I said, get all these daily live streams, real market updates, all of the different channels, news updates, alerts, reports, and flexible membership. So if you go down to memberships, you can do the gold. This is all in Canadian dollars as well. So if you're in the US, it's going to be 40% cheaper. And then you get the silver membership, and then right below that is the POW Algo alerts. So you get a monthly option and annual subscription. And again, it's all in Canadian dollars. I don't have a trial yet for the POW Algo alerts, but I will see what I can do about that. It might be a little while, maybe a couple months before I get that all sorted out. Just with so many things that I have going on. But if you are a POW Group private community member, so if you have any of these memberships here, the VIP, the gold, or the silver, reach out to me, and I'll give you 20% off the algo service. And that'll be for life as well. As long as you don't cancel it, you'll get your POW membership, you'll get that 20% off. So let me know if that's something you want to take advantage of. But if you want to just sign up for the algo alerts, the option is there. You can sign up for that and get directly emailed to your inbox. So we'll take a look at the algo alert service here and what I've got going on so far. So a lot of what we do with regards to technical analysis is very manual, and the whole point of the algo service is to give maybe a couple dozen indicators and alerts so that you can get an email directly to your phone, and it's going to be tailored to the different type of trader and investor. So if you're a trader and you're looking for scalp trades, swing trades, day trades, it's going to be great for that. And then if you're looking for somebody like a little bit more passive, a little bit more laid back, a little bit more hands-off approach, there's going to be some longer term algo alerts as well that we can utilize to time entries and exits for either long-term investing or just longer term trades. And David Ben's in the house. Rod, glad you were feeling better. Thank you very much. What ordeal you went through? It was brutal, but silver lining and everything could have been a lot worse, they say. Hope they arrested the cretin who assaulted you. Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. The cop was looking into it. I haven't heard anything back. So maybe next week, or maybe this week. Sorry. What do you think about the big vote on Tillray's proposed reverse split tomorrow? I can't see it not getting approved, to be honest. But you have to get the votes in tonight before 12 Eastern time, so midnight Eastern time. And then, the meeting tomorrow will more than likely get the results. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, June 10th. So I can't see it not going through. I believe I'm only one, but Rod, it's bedtime. Glad you're doing better. I believe I'm on time, but Rod, it's bedtime. Okay, cool. No worries. Thank you very much. IIPR looking slamming. If you can peek at it, I will join the crew. Join the crew here soon and rewatch all this. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we can take a look at that real quick here. We can even take a look at IIPR with some of the indicators that I built and see if we have any kind of major buy or sell signals. But yeah, we did have a bear flag on this one, and it was a monthly bear flag, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. So if I zoom out, and my memory has been pretty brutal. Couldn't even remember my address, which I can normally cite it off in like a couple seconds. And yeah, like I said, I had a concussion, so it's still kind of foggy and getting my memory back. But yeah, it was a monthly bear flag, and the target was 44.40, and we hit 45.44, so we came very close to that target. So if you just entered there, like you could have entered there right at 45.44, set your stop below 44, and you could have risked essentially, 3.5%, and you'd already be up about 25%. So that's why I like using these bear flags as well and bull flags, because they can give you areas to exit or enter, right? If you have a bull flag and we flipped it around, right? If we inverted that scale, well, that'd be a bull flag, and if you we're looking to take profit, well, there's your measured move and an area to take profit. But because this is a bear flag and a regular scale, you could say, okay, well, I'm not short, but I'm wondering when would be a good time to buy. Well, if you have a monthly bear flag and we've hit that target, you can use that target as your entry and then set your stop just below that, and that would have been an absolute moneymaker with regards to that potential swing trade. But yeah, we'll take a look. It's not really doing too much at the moment. We were starting the monthly bounce last month, but only started the monthly bounce by like $1. The bouncing just means you're breaking the high of the previous candle. And right now we're in monthly inside bar, so we're just tightening up inside of last month's range. Lots of crazy stuff today. Tomorrow, Tillray, let's get something going. Yeah, there's actually a really bullish signal right now with regards to one of the indicators that I built. And we're going to dive into that here next. Saw lots of good interviews on TDR, good stuff. CEOs seem pretty all right. Yeah, there's a lot of, in the early days, you had the visionaries, the entrepreneurs, the builders, and now you're getting into more of the CPG and, efficiency type CEOs, right? Saw lots of good interviews. Yep. All right, so we'll jump right into it. So in terms of different indicators that I've built so far. So this is essentially what you can expect to receive as part of the Algo service. So again, if you go to pursuitofwealthgroup.com or powgroup.ca, the Algo alert service is there, and you can sign up for the monthly or the yearly option. And essentially you're going to get all these alerts. There's 15 of them, and I'll go through each one and I'll discuss what it is, how you can utilize it, and what essentially you can expect in terms of receiving the alerts. So when we take a look at these, there's 15 of them. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory, some of them are not. They're proprietary, and I have simultaneous conditions built into it so that, there's a few different conditions that have to be met simultaneously before it triggers the alert. And those are kind of better for those longer term trades. And then we can even use it for like oversold, multiple time frames being oversold, and using that as a potential way to do day trades, swing trades, etc. So probably my favorite one is the triple thunder crossover alert. So the POW, we'll just take a look at IIPR here, and we'll look at the bullish triple thunder crossover. So essentially what's going on here is there's three conditions that have to be met. One is MACD bull cross on the weekly time frame. You need to see a slow stochastic bull cross on the weekly time frame. And again, I use proprietary, and I'm going to be teaching how to set this up in the POW Academy new course. So if you go to Academy, I have the beginner course, which, you don't have to be like a beginner, right? You can be a pretty, well-versed investor or trader. And this trading and investing 101, there's a lot of great, content with regards to like crypto and how to, set up crypto and just, psychology and everything of technical analysis, a little bit of an introduction to technical analysis. So again, either if you're new, beginner, experienced, that'll be a great starting point. And I'm working on this right now. It's pre-orders available, and I'm going to teach you how to set up your charts exactly how I do it. So when you look at my charts, when I go through here, multi-coin charts, if I go through trading view, if I go through stock charts, at all of these screens that you always see me use in this new investing advanced course, Mastery, Investing and Trading Mastery, there's going to be a whole section right here on Chapter 2, Technical Analysis Deep Dive. So the first one's just an introductory course to technical analysis. This is going to be a deep dive, so charting tools, software, how to set up your charts, advanced chart patterns, momentum trend indicators, volume analysis, candlestick mastery, fib retracement, extensions, trading setups, game plans. And then I'm going to teach you, like with interactive courses and quizzes, sorry, not courses, interactive quizzes and examples and use cases and case studies to show you how to apply that knowledge and to make sure that you're actually retaining that knowledge. And again, you'll be able to see all of the correct answers, and you'll know whether or not you're on the right path. So if you're like me and you're a visual learner, I think you'll really benefit from that. And there's some of this already in the beginner course as well, but obviously with my injuries and it's going to take some time. I'm just not able to sit on a chair for, like it's going to take me a long time. I've already put probably 50 hours into this thing, just creating the content, the curriculum, and I'm already done chapter 1. I've done the course intro in chapter 1. Now I'm on to chapter 2. I've already done lesson 1, so I'm picking up at lesson 2. So I'd say probably 50 or 60% of the way done. And yeah, this chapter 2 is probably going to take me another 20 or 30 hours to make in itself. So I just don't have 20 or 30 hours to sit at a computer right now. Hopefully in a couple of weeks or something, I'll be able to start getting back into that groove again. But my hope is that in the next month or two, I'll be able to have this fully live. I'll show you how to set up your charts exactly as I do it, and I'll explain how I do it. But in terms of these indicators, I've been using values that I find are the most accurate and profitable. So back to this triple thunder crossover. So there's the bullish version, and then there's the bearish version. So if we go to indicators and I click on bearish, you can see here these are great long-term entry and exit signals. And it utilizes, like I said, moving averages, simple moving averages of the price. It uses MACD and stochastic, but it's not just one or the other. All three of those indicators have to be met simultaneously in order for this to send off. Let's get this early bread knowledge. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Cheers. Yeah. So again, I'll try not. I'm not going to pay attention to the chat here for just a few minutes because it's hard to maintain my train of thought here. So there's a lot going on. So essentially, all of the red are the bearish ones, all of the green are the bullish ones, and what you're going to look at here is the different entries and exit signals. So in this instance, you could have entered here on this candle. You just hover over that green X, and the entry was at the close of that candle, and it closed at 81.69. So if you entered there, just say on IIPR, that would have been an upside of 72%. Okay, so then we had a bearish crossover, which it saw, actually, if we go from that candle there, so it closed here at $76, and then it dropped down to about $39.40. So that would have saved you 47% of downside. And then here there was, again, another bullish triple thunder crossover, and the entry was the close of that candle at 123.09. If you entered there, you would have saw upside of 134%. But again, this is on the monthly time frame, so these are very long-term indicators. But again, it's more geared toward your longer-term investor or longer-term swing trader. But essentially, that was 15 months, right? So that's like almost a year and a half at that point. But great entry and exit signals. And then again here, the entry signal was when we were at 198. That was the bearish triple thunder crossover. So when that candle closed and it printed that X and that triple thunder bearish crossover, it would have been at 198. That was your signal to enter short or to sell and take profit, and you would have saved yourself 68% of downside. Here we are again, triple thunder bullish crossover. Your entry signal was the close of that candle right here at 87.28. You would have saw another 59% of upside. And then again, this one here, your entry was 66.64 and would have saved you about 30% of downside. So now we're looking at more than likely a bullish triple thunder crossover coming over the next few weeks. So those are the triple thunder crossover alerts, both bullish and bearish scenarios. So just entries and exit signals. So if we go back here to our indicators, the next one's pretty simple. Death cross and golden cross, which I'll just have to get rid of a couple of alerts here. So get rid of the triple thunder. So we'll bring up indicators. You got death cross and golden cross. So again, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Everybody knows what a death cross and a golden cross is. You just go to the daily time frame. That's why when I look at this daily time frame, you can see here it has the golden crosses, the death crosses Death cross is just when the 50-day moving average is above the 200 and it crosses. That's bearish. That's called a death cross. On the flip side of that, when the 50-day moving average is below the 200 and they cross, that's a bullish crossover and a golden cross. So what I did is I've essentially added the visualization tools and the alerts directly into it. So I can add any stock, any commodity, any crypto, and we can set these alerts up for it. So not only will you be able to see it visually on the chart with the demarcations, you'll get an email and a notification in the Slack POW Group private community if you're in it, and you'll get emails the second that it happens. So the second that that alert fires off, you'll get instant notification, and you'll be able to use that as a way to protect against downside or to take advantage of upside. So again, look at this opportunity here on the death cross scenario. So if we just zoom in to this death cross, the signal was right here. It closed at 67.69, and then shortly after we hit $40. Then we had a golden cross. You can see the 50 is the blue, the red is the 200-day moving average. The entry signal here was when the price was at $95, and we went all the way up to 222. So that was a great entry there. And then we even exceeded that. We went all the way up to 282. But again, we didn't have a death cross. So then here, that was your signal to exit right here on February 14th, 2022. That would have saved you roughly about 53% of downside, and it actually it even went even further than that. So it was roughly 65% of downside. Then we had a golden cross alert there. So you can see how very useful this can be. And then, like I said, taking it a step further and actually getting the alert directly to your email or in Slack, or both, if you want to take advantage of that. So those are the death cross, golden cross. Those ones, like I said, are pretty self-explanatory, but I wanted to show you exactly. And again, what's going to happen is if you're in the Slack POW Group private community, if you go over to the POW Algo Alerts channel, this is kind of an example of what it would look like. So you get this, I've been testing around with these different alerts, but essentially you would get XRP USD micro oversold, and I'm going to show you what that is here in just a moment. But this alert, the same thing would be sent in plain text directly to your email as well. So again, if you're not in the POW Group private community, you'd have that email. So now let's take a look at another one here. So we'll go back to indicators. We did death cross. I really like this one as well, dynamic Bollinger Bands. So it gives you entry and exit signals as the price escapes from these bands. So if you go to the daily time frame, you can see all of the red triangle demarcations are the exit signals, and the green is obviously the bullish scenario. So here we had 3 in a row. Well, as you can see, when we have 1, we have quite a bit of downside. When we have 3, that just increases the odds. So if you just started to enter here on this position, that would have saved you almost 40% of downside. And here we have 2 in a row, and we're looking to see a pretty big reversal, and look how tight they are here on the daily time frame. But again, this is going to email it or send it directly in the POW Group private community alerts directly to your inbox, and you'll get those buy and sell signals. So that's dynamic Bollinger Bands. Then if we take a look at the next one, bring up indicators. So this one's really cool too. It's called the M2 money supply. So essentially M2 money supply is just like liquid cash. So anything like, that's easily, it's just factors in the global money supply, and anything that's effectively easy to liquidate and treated like a cash, right? Bonds, etc. So if we take a look at the daily time frame or the weekly time frame, it's going to update based on the different time frames. But as you can see here, look at this right here. So on the weekly time frame, this is using the growth or the slowing of M2 money supply. So either it's growing or contracting, and it gives you basically entry and exit alerts for that correlation. So as you can see here, we had an M2 money supply sell signal. Price was at 133 when it closed. So we'll just go from 133 here to the low. That would have saved you 53% of downside on IIPR. And if we look at the buy signal here on, would have been May 30th, 2023. That would have been upside of about 16%. But then we got another sell signal. That would have saved you 11% of downside. Then we had another buy signal. You could have entered here when price closed at around 83. and you would have seen upside of about 25%. Then we had another sell signal. We had a correction of about 8%, and then another buy. So if you just exit when we see the sell signals and buy when we see the buy signals, or if you want to go short, you can short at the sell signals. That's another option as well. Shorting just means you're doing the opposite. Instead of buying, you're effectively betting that the price is going to go down. And then another buy signal here when the price was at $99, and then we saw almost 40% of upside. So again, another great tool that we can use in the custom alerts for POW Algo service. Again, we'll go back to indicators. So this one's really, really cool. Micro overbought and oversold. So again, very self-explanatory. We'll just go to micro overbought and zoom into the lower level timeframes. So micro level overbought is more for the trader style. So if you want to, say, do a quick scalp trade, you want to do a quick day trade, this is probably the indicator for you. If you're looking for like a swing trade, maybe a few weeks or few months, well, you're not going to look at the micro one. You're going to look at the next one, which I'll show you, which is the ultra overbought and oversold, which factors in higher level timeframes. So this was the micro overbought and oversold. So this factors in, I think it was the micro overbought. Yeah, so it was the 2-minute, 5-minute, and 15-minute timeframes. So as you can see, when we get oversold on all, and it's simultaneously, so it has to be oversold on the 2, 5, and the 15-minute timeframes. If so, you get a micro oversold alert directly on the chart, and then it gets emailed directly to your email and notification in Slack as well. So look at this one here on this candle. This was your entry. So when we were oversold at $54, you would have had upside of about 3.5%. Then you had 2 micro overbought scenarios, and then we had a correction of about 2.65%. And again, that's on the 15-minute time frame. So what do you notice about the micro is you're not going to see that 20 or 30% swing because it's the micro level time frames, right? So think about, maybe 3 or 5%, or, probably max 10% that you're going to see in the micro scenario. So this is really cool. Again, more for your day traders and scalp traders looking at those micros. But now we'll bring up the ultra overbought and oversold. These factor in higher level time frames. So it's going to be the 1 hour. I'm just going to bring it up here. It's going to be the 1 hour, the 5-minute, the 1 hour, and the 2 hour. So this is going to give you a lot more downside and a lot more upside potential. So if we go into the 2 hour time frame here, look at this one. We had 3 ultra oversolds, and then on this one here, from the low to that recent high was upside potential of 26% there on IIPR. And IIPR isn't one of your highly volatile names, we'll say. So if we go to XRP USD, let's take a look at the last time we were ultra oversold. We had a bounce of about 4%. And this one here, actually, let me zoom out to the daily time frame. There was one that was money. Yeah, it was this one here. Look at this. So ultra oversold. It had upside of 72% before we really started to break out. But right there, ultra oversold, 663%. So again, it's just all of those level time frames. And now we're hitting ultra overbought. So we more than likely are due for a pretty sizable correction in the not too distant future here. And we haven't been ultra oversold since way back in the end of May 31st. So it's coming soon. Probably going to be, I would say, later on this week. So that's another example of how we can use, again, those are for more longer term entries. Now we'll take a look at the ML. So this is machine learning trend predictor, and this will give you different entry and exit signals as well. So this one you can see we have buy signal, we had a sell signal, another buy, sell here with this candle, I believe it was right here. So it would have been when the price was at about 233, and that would have saved you about 13% of downside. And again, look at this one here. This one was money. And eventually we'll be able to test and create a logbook and see how much of the success or failures that these indicators are having. Right now, I just built them, so I don't really have any track record, but you don't really need a track record in terms of the alerts themselves actually firing and receiving them. You can just put it on the chart, and you can see here, like, look at this one, right? We would have had, like, this one right here, which was back on November 7th. Price closed at 53. So the idea here is you buy when it says buy, pretty self-explanatory, and you either exit or go short when it says sell. And you don't exit that trade until it says sell. And you're not going to see that print and that actual demarcation show up on the chart until the candle closes. So in this instance, you could have bought when the price closed on this candle and it printed that buy signal. You could have bought at 55 cents. And then once this sell one triggered, you could have sold and you would have locked in a profit of 334%. And then there's another buy, so you buy it back. There was another sell, so you sell it. You save yourself, another, 15% of downside. And then here you go. This one you buy when the price was at 239 and you sell it here for another 33% of upside. And again, you can use that on the flip side. You can go short when the price is printing those sell signals as well. But this one's a little bit more like cut and dry. Like you don't exit or you don't buy until it tells you to, right? So if you buy this here and you're wondering where I should sell it, right? Because you're thinking like, well, I bought this thing at 55 cents and here we are at $1.22. Should I sell? Nope, we didn't get a sell signal. But what about at $2.88? What about at $3? We just almost hit $3. Should I sell? Is there a sell one there? No, there's not. He waited another week or two, then it printed the sell, and then that would have saved you, again, about 15 to 20% of downside. So that is the machine learning, the POW machine learning trend predictor. And that one's a lot more simpler to use. This one was really cool too. Multi-time frame RSI, relative strength index divergence. So remember how in my videos I talk about bearish RSI divergence, which is you've got lower highs and lower lows on the RSI. So in this instance, you had lower highs and lower lows on the RSI. And then the price action was seeing the opposite, higher lows and higher highs. So that's called hidden bearish RSI divergence. If it was the other way around, we would just invert the scale and this would be inverted as well. And you would see that it was going to be bullish because you're seeing higher lows and higher highs on the RSI and lower highs and lower lows on the price action. That's called hidden bullish. So what the multi-time frame RSI divergence does is it factors all of that in, but for multiple time frames. And again, it gives you these short entries and long entries. And again, you don't exit or enter until it tells you. So in this one, you would have entered here long at, again, around 50 cents. And this one told you to short it at 155. So that would have been upside of about 200%. And again, we had 3 in a row here. So, this one was another signal, and that would have saved you about almost 30% of downside. Here we are, another long entry. If you entered here, that would have been upside of about 25%. And you'd still be in that trade because it hasn't told you to sell yet. All right, we're pretty much at the end. But, oh yeah, this one's really cool. So platinum bull cross and bear cross. So essentially what this is the weekly time frame moving averages bull crosses. So again, on the daily time frame, we call it a golden cross and a death cross. Well, this is just the same, only but for the weekly time frame. So again, if you don't want to be checking this all the time, right? Is there even any really point to check this all the time? Because it's the weekly time frame. You don't really want to be looking at it every day because sometimes it can take months for these to fire off, right? Like this is called a platinum bear cross when the 50 weekly was above the 200 weekly and it crossed, which was back in January 2023. That price saw a pretty sizable correction after that. Then we had the platinum bull cross where the price right here, this occurred in December, so just after the elections. That was your entry signal. And again, you're going to get these alerts directly to your email and in Slack. And again, when it's the weekly time frame, it takes a lot longer to fire off, right? Like when this happened, it was the platinum bear cross happened in January of 2023, and then we didn't have another alert fire until December 2024, right? So it was like a little over a year later. So again, we just go back to XRP. We zoom out to the weekly time frame because it's the weekly moving averages. And as you can see in this instance, you had your platinum bull cross, tons of upside, and you had your bear cross, tons of downside. And you can usually see right before it even happens, and it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat to have this in your chart as well, just all the time. And maybe I'll look at publishing these as well on TradingView. But it's pretty awesome to have them available on the chart as well, because if you get a platinum bull cross, say like we just did, or even back here, usually that means that the top is coming soon, right? If you get a platinum bull cross, usually in the next few weeks, if not a couple of months, is probably when you're going to expect it to go the other way, and then you're going to expect a platinum bear cross, right? And that's exactly what happened. You had your platinum bull, and then we saw a correction of about 83% on XRP, and then you had your platinum bear cross, and then same thing in that direction. Usually a few weeks or a couple of months after that, then you start to see the price go the other way. So even if you have a platinum bear cross, you can use it as another way. So not like this probably isn't the best to use for entries and exits, because they're lagging indicators, because they track the price, so therefore they're lagging. So you can use it, you just don't want to be too greedy, right? So the way I would like to use these indicators is when we get a platinum bear cross, use that as an entry indicator, but expect more downside in the short term. Maybe, like I said, another few weeks or a couple months of downside, and then use that as a way to time entries, especially on assets that are going to have long-term staying power, and that they aren't risky. They're not penny stocks, not companies that aren't making any money. They're established, right? They don't really have a risk of total loss or anything like that. They're going to be here in 5, 10, 20 years from now. And if you see a platinum bear cross, well, it's like, okay, well, I'm starting to get bullish again, because what usually comes after a platinum bear cross? Usually platinum bull, right? And then sure enough, couple months later, after we had that platinum bear cross, price skyrocketed almost 900%, almost 10x on XRP. So that's the platinum bull and bear crosses. Again, it's very similar to the daily time frame. It's just using the weekly moving averages instead. Okay, so next we have already did overbought. I think that's pretty much, actually one more. We have the volatility squeeze breakout. So again, just like some of those other examples, you only exit the trade when it tells you to short, or you see the red triangle, and you only enter and you don't sell it until another one prints. So this one's kind of similar to the Bollinger Bands, but it's just using volatility index and looking for different types of short squeezes. And again, all of these will be emailed and sent directly in Slack. But probably my favorite one of all would be the Triple Thunder bearish and bullish setups, because these give you great long-term entries. I really like the oversold ones as well. And the next step in the POW Algo service roadmap, if you will, is going to be initiating buy and sell orders directly through these indicators. So imagine if you could, and it's probably going to be easier to do with crypto, but imagine if you could just set, $100 in this algo, this bot, right? This trading bot, and apply all of these algos that I've created. I've got 15 of them, like I said, custom POW Algo alerts and indicators. Imagine if it actually bought the asset for you when those alerts fired off. And then when it tells you to sell, imagine if it had the functionality to actually sell it for you, like a type of API connection, right? Which is my next goal. So I've been working with one of the POW Group private community members. Been working on his own bot for crypto, and using I think Uniswap to do it. So hopefully, maybe over the next few months or years, hopefully not years. Hopefully it's more of a monthly time frame. We can eventually get something set up like a crypto wallet where you can just start with $100, right? Put $100 into it, put $100 into this trading bot, utilize these 15 different strategies and indicators and alerts that I have set up so far, and then just let it trade and let the automation do it for you. You don't even have to hit the buy or sell button at that point, right? Obviously, you're not going to do it with $100,000 unless you started with $100 and it turns into 1,000 turns into 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and you got a five-figure or six-figure account. But I don't recommend starting with that unless you got a net worth of like a couple $1 million or something, and you don't care about 30 grand. But what's the worst that could happen, right? You start with $100 and just let the trading bot go. And the hardest thing is perfecting the strategies, perfecting the indicators, and getting the ones that are most accurate and that aren't going to hit lots of failures, right? Because you're going to have failures. The idea is to win more than you lose. So that's what trading is. So this is going to be interesting here over the next, maybe 6 to 12 months. If I can get that going, that would ultimately be the goal and would be super epic. So what do you guys and gals think of this so far? Like I said, I've been really working hard on this lately, and I've been getting a lot of great feedback about it so far. And like I said, I'm probably about 80 to 90% of the way complete. I've got everything configured, alerting properly. I just need to test all of the alerts and go from there. All right, I think I got pretty much everything. Do you think SB3 in Texas will be good or bad for LPs if Abbott signs? It's hard to say. Ultimately, ban it, don't ban it. It's just kind of stupid, right? It's all one plant. In Canada, we've been legal for almost 7 years now at the federal level. Hemp, cannabis, it's all the same, right? It's MJ. It's one plant. We regulate it the same. So ultimately, it's just a lack of Congress doing their job. There's case law right now being done. There's multiple ways that things can happen and become law. You could see usually through the judicial system, right, through case law, or it can be done through Congress and passing comprehensive legislation, right? So getting the regulators and the politicians to do it. So we'll see what happens. It could potentially be legalized through case law. There's already some indications of that. I'm not holding my breath, but ultimately I think it's just a matter of Congress doing their job and getting together and forming legislation to let this whole industry thrive, right? It shouldn't be hemp versus MJ. It's all one plant, right? It should be one cohesive community, just like in Canada, right? Everything's regulated the same. But to go back to your question, is it bullish or bearish for LPs? I think it's kind of neutral. I don't really think it matters a whole lot. I really don't think they're going to ban hemp beverages, maybe in Texas, but in terms of the majority of the United States, I don't think they will, just because they're so Total Wines. There was an article today about it. Let me just bring it up in the POW Group private community. So instead of going to Google, I would just bring up the POW Group private community. And there's a new publication here from the MJ Herald. Carolina movement to legalize MJ gains considerably more momentum than previous years. So instead of going on Google and searching for it, I would just scroll up and have all of the MJ news sorted directly in here. And there's even a search function. So I could even just type in here, wine. And there you go. First one comes up. Wine and Spirits Wholesaler of America urges Congress to protect state authority to allow hemp psychoactive component products. Major alcohol industry group pushes Congress to dial back proposed hemp product ban. So, ultimately, I don't think those are huge capex requirements as well. The beverage category, so I don't think they're going to get rid of that. Gummies, flour, I think that there's no way in hell that'll be allowed to thrive, in my opinion. But you never know. We'll see what happens. Ultimately, as long as they have the COAs and they're not full of pesticides and dangerous, let it thrive. Who cares, right? But if MJ was legalized federally in the U.S., you just get amazing quality MJ out there, right? You wouldn't have that terrible hemp with spray all over it. It's just, I was in Florida and I got it. It was absolutely terrible. I bought 3 different strains, and on the picture it looks amazing when you go buy it at True Leaf store, which I did. And then when you get home and you open it up, and you're like, oh my God, I got taken for a ride, right? It's so bad. You can't, the smell is terrible. You can't even roll it, can't even light it. It's just every way possible terrible. And I'll never buy it again. I don't care. I'd rather not smoke at all. I quit smoking MJ completely and drinking a couple months ago for 5 weeks. And now I started again. I'm 3 weeks, no MJ at all. And I'm probably going to do 2 months this time, doing a bit of an experiment just to see how my energy levels are and my body reacts to that. I mean, I've been consuming MJ since I was 12 years old, 13 years old, right? Which is a lot younger than is recommended. But, you know, I've never been a zombie, as you call it. I've been very productive. You know, just look at how much of these indicators I built here over the last few weeks. And yeah, working on the academy courses. I got the POW Group private community. I got my business. I got two long-term rentals. I got 2 short-term rental properties, Airbnbs. So like I'm always on the go. I have a daughter now. She's 16 months old. I have a partner, right? So, you know, I've got a life on top of all this stuff, and, you know, I don't think that the stigma is as bad as they say it is, but yeah, bit of a rant there, but yeah, I don't think it really is going to matter a whole lot. Like, the LPs are entering the US through the hemp industry, and a lot are doing it through beverages. You got Wanderous by Wana, which is owned by Canopy, and you can see that, you know, they've got tons of options on there, right? They got gummies, like they've got like even wines and stuff like that on there. So essentially, you know, just legalize it all. That's the way I think it should go. All right, I'm out, says Mr. Mankey. I'll rewatch it later. Okay, cool. Have a good night. Go Oilers, go. Actually, let's just take a quick look at the Oilers game. It's probably like halfway done the period now. Oh man, 4-1. Are you kidding me? Second intermission. Terrible. Yeah. Honestly, I was so frustrated at this game when I first saw it. They missed net like 10 times that period. And they had like 4 penalties, 2 goals against, just an absolute garbage start to the hockey game. And here it is, 4-1. If any team can come back, it's the Oilers in the third. But pretty much written off this game. We'll see what we can do here on Thursday. Jastinder, hello Rod. I hope you were doing well. Can you show on Tillray chart? Yeah. So if we take a look at Tillray here. So you got your weekly time frame. So it's the one sector that these indicators do not work that well on right now is MJ, and it's usually like that with the highly manipulated sectors, and especially the nascent sectors, right? If they're very new, you know, the U.S. still hasn't even legalized it yet, so you're going to see tons of manipulation. But yeah, there was an entry here, triple thunder crossover bullish. Barely saw any upside, but then, you know, you would have exited with a small loss. So if there's any sector that really sucks for some of these indicators, it'd be MJ. But again, I think it's just because it's so manipulated right now. But essentially, if you entered there, and then once this printed the X, you would have locked in a loss of 26%. But you would have saved yourself another 65% of downside by exiting on that bearish triple thunder crossover alert. So let's say you're not looking to swing, you're just looking for entries. Well, if you're thinking about adding when the price is here, like let's say, you know, the price back here on January of 2025 was at $1.51, and then we dropped to a couple weekly lower lows, and we dropped to almost $1, and you're thinking, oh, we were just at $1.50, and here we are at $1.11. Maybe I'll think about entering. But then you wait one more week and we print a bearish triple thunder crossover, and you're like, oh, okay, well, glad I didn't enter because we're probably going to see a lot more downside. We just printed this bearish triple thunder crossover, and that would have saved you another 65% of downside, right? So you can use that as a way to be more patient and use it for ways to time entries and potentially dollar cost average. But there was some opportunity, right? Like, look at this one here. So you had the triple, or sort of the bearish triple, then you had the bullish. This one saw about 51% of upside. Then we had a bear, didn't get much follow through, followed by a bull cross. That would have saw 10x, so over 1,000% of upside. And again, these ones you don't exit until the next one prints, essentially, is usually what you do. Or like I said, you can use it as a way to dollar cost average, or just kind of get an idea of like, oh, should I enter now, right? Again, if the price is at $67 and a few months later it's at 22, and then we print a bearish triple thunder crossover, well, you're gonna be like, okay, well, maybe I won't enter here at $20. I'll wait a little bit. And then sure enough, about 6 months later, or sorry, that's on the weekly time frame, a few months later, we went down to 14. Then we had another one. So again, you wouldn't want to go long then, right? especially after 2 in a row. There was an entry here, but again, pretty big fake out. So as you can see, it's not as useful on MJ. I think there will become a time where it will be. It's just these sectors that have so much growth ahead and that are heavily manipulated and still illegal, right? If you're selling products that are illegal in the biggest economy in the world, in the US, it's probably going to be manipulated. But it's not to say that there wasn't opportunities. There was one, I think it was the ML trend predictor that's interesting. No, not that one. Multi-time frame RSI divergence, I believe it was. Yeah, so we have 2 buys back to back. So again, this one here, short 2 back to back, tons of downside it would have saved you. This one you had a long entry and saw quite a bit of upside. But again, it's just not as accurate on some of these MJ names. This one here though, this one would have saved you about 40% of downside. Then you could have went long and seen about 15% of upside. But the last time we had 2 long entry signals here on the multi-time frame RSI divergence indicator, the price went, from the time the second one fired off, it went up about 40%. But the idea here is, again, you don't exit until it tells you to, until it prints the red triangle. So in this one, you wouldn't have sold until here, and then you would have had 15% of upside. Well, let me see. 11% of upside. But you can use it, you know, you can use it to your advantage. Like, you can do whatever you want. You can say, okay, I have 2 long entries here. You know, if I can get 30 or 40%, you know, based off of this pullback, right? We were just pulled back 52%. So if you're pulling back 52%, we could easily see a bounce of 30 or 40% right off of the lows. So if you're saying, okay, I'm going to lock in 30% on this trade, well, 2 of them back to back, 30% should be really easy. So if you look at this alert firing from the low to the high there, it was 40%. If you go to the local low of that to the high, it was almost 60%. So that was the last time we had 2 long entries in a row. And look what's printing now, 2 long entries in a row. So if we were to see 40% or 50, well, I guess it was 40% from the time it fired, which if we go here, that would be about, if something similar happens to the last time we had 2, that means we'd be back up around 62 cents. But from the local lows, and if we see about 60% of upside, yeah, around 62%. So that makes sense. So we could be at 62 cents here in the next few weeks. And also a daily EMA 12 and 26 bull cross lining up. Weekly time frame, we have no resistance until the EMA 12, which is at 51, and then a lack until the 26 at 74 cents. So, and this could even be an inverse head and shoulders potentially on the monthly time frame here. See the left head, right shoulder potentially. But the next time we start the monthly bounce on Tillray, it's going to be a massive one. Look at this. We haven't bounced on the monthly significantly since July 2024. Pretty much every monthly candle has been a lower high. We had that one time in November of last year, right around the elections, where, you know, we broke the high. It was 177 the previous monthly candle. Then we hit 182. It's like, okay, 5 pennies. Who cares, right? We won't even consider that a monthly bounce. So the last time we considered a monthly bounce, a significant one, was back in July 2024. So we've now been on 11 months in a row without any monthly bounce, a significant one. So we're almost 12 months, a whole year, without any monthly bounce. So the second we break the high of the previous monthly candle, I think it's going to be go time. I think we're going to see easily 60 to 100% move. Just to EMA 12 is about 144%, and EMA 26 is about 460%. So yeah, there's lots of different ways that we can use it. The oversold, though, I think oversold would be great for this one. Like if we go micro oversold and ultra oversold. So ultra oversold, you'll be looking at the 2 hour. So here you would have saw about a 6.5% trade opportunity. But again, there's just a lot of fake outs. Let's take a look at the micro one. So So again, when you see the micros, you're not going to see as much upside. Yeah, that was about an 18% opportunity there. This one was a great one. Look at this one. So you could have entered on this X printing, which was right there, price at 227. Could have entered there, and that would have been upside of about 50%. Again, we did see one lower low, but that's usually just a bear trap. And that final reversal in spring phase. And you could set, if you wanted to do a stop loss, allow a little bit of wiggle room. So we hit the low there at 227. That's when we closed as well at 227, and when that fired off as micro oversold. So you could have entered there at 227, and the low was 222. So maybe you set your stop under 210, $2. So essentially, let's say you use $2. This is a nice round psychological number. You would have essentially risked about 11%, 11.5% to make 50%. That's a great risk reward opportunity. And to get that, you would just go here, grab the long position, say, okay, this is where I'm going to enter. This is my target. And say this is my stop. So I'm going to go just under $2, so $1.99. I'm going to risk 12.14%. And my upside potential is 49%. So your risk reward is a 4.12 risk reward. So anything 2 to 1, right, is great. So 4 is exceptional. And I do believe that that was a moving average resistance as well back at that time. But I'm going to start wrapping it up. I'm going to go catch the third period and watch the Oilers probably get their butt handed to them, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how we can use it for Tillray. And yeah, there's lots of ways you can use that, obviously. We got Jam in the house, another VIP member. We got POW Algo. Any comments on what specifically was the minus 700 million write-off from Tillray's goodwill from last earning? Which acquisition was the dud? It was... I don't really recall, to be honest. Maybe MedMen. There might have been some stuff left over from Hexo. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Memories. I had a concussion as well about a week ago, so memory isn't what it used to be. But should be back to normal here, not too long. I got to rewatch this, says Jam. Hey Rod, the 2026 the Olympics and the FIFA World Cup will be in 11 states, 2 cities in Canada, Toronto, Vancouver, 3 cities in Mexico. Wow, crazy. Pretty sure that will boost sales for all MJ companies. Yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, tourism will be booming. That's cool though. Tomorrow's vote will probably be good for the price action on Tillray in the short term. Yeah, typically leading into a reverse split. Like, keep in mind the vote tomorrow for Tillray, when we get the results, it's not going to be the reverse split taking effect. We're gonna find out whether or not it was approved or not, and then the board has the decision ultimately to make. They can do a 1 for 10 or all the way up to a 1 for 20. So they could either do a 10 for 1 reverse split, or they could do a 20 for 1 reverse split, but they can't do a 30 for 1, right? Because that wasn't approved by shareholders. So they have that range. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the full 20 to 1, to be honest. Look at Canopy, right? It did a 10 for 1 reverse split, and then it just dropped down to 77 cents. So it was at risk of doing a second one. And Aurora did something similar, a 12 for 1, and then it had to do a 10 for 1 again. So I think Tillray will more than likely be smart and do the 21 for 1 right off the bat. And similar to what SPCE stock did, Virgin Galactic Space, SPCE, you can see here it did a 1 for 20 as well. But what do we know about reverse splits? Generally, the price tends to continue to drop after that. So after it split, it still saw another 75% of downside. I'm not expecting that for Tillray, honestly, just because it's been so beaten down. Like, I would have, like 75% of downside, like it would be like the equivalent of Tillray doing it here. But because we've been, like, space is down 99% recently from all-time high, and that's what Tillray is down, 99%. So I can't see it going down that much. Maybe leading into the reverse split, it goes another 10% down. Maybe we drop to like that 32 bear flag target that we had, 32 cent bear flag target. Maybe 29 cents or something like that. But I can't see it. Like if we were to drop another 75% from here, you'd be into the 10-cent region. So I don't think that's the most likely scenario. But typically leading into the reverse split, you'll see some more downside. Just calling it as it is. But like I said, because we're down 99% from all-time highs, and we've been absolutely decimated over the last 4 years, essentially, I'm not expecting as much downside as we otherwise would. But yeah, expect some volatility for sure. You got moon phase in the house, high rod, true leaf chart. Yeah, we can take a quick peek at that. TCNNF. Looks like we have a bear flag here. Daily time frame. Just get you a very weak bounce. Didn't even get above the 0.236. So you move that out to your 0.32 fib. And in terms of percentage, we are about 6% away. And the target is 357. Just a quick peek. How's the recovery going? Thank you very much for asking. It's going great, actually. I've been feeling great. I told everybody that I had some face lacerations. I had a cut on the back of my head, so I had a concussion as well. And yeah, 6 broken ribs. So unfortunately, seen better days, Lois, to quote Peter Griffin from Family Guy. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Obviously, it's going to be a couple months or more before my ribs are fully healed, so there's that. I'm not going to be doing any sprinting or jogging or running or anything like that or working out anytime soon, so that's a bummer. Even stretching is kind of hard to do, right? Like certain stretches I can't do. Sleeping has been absolutely brutal, and I was actually doing some research, and when you have a concussion, it messes with your sleep pattern, and not only falling asleep, but staying asleep. So, and what a bad time to be off MJ. I'm 3 weeks almost again. I just did 5 weeks, no MJ or alcohol, completely cold turkey, and I reintroduced both after 5 weeks, and I've been doing another experiment now where I'm off MJ. It's been almost 3 weeks, and I'm going to do 2 months just to see how things are and give my body a rest and reset, and yeah. Definitely would be a lot easier to sleep though if I could utilize the miracle medical medicine plant, medicine of the future. Smoke more. Yeah, no, I've slowly, like I said earlier in the stream, I've been smoking since I was like 12 years old, 13 years old. So it's never a bad idea to give your body a rest and listen to your body and just rebuild your tolerance, right? Your immunity and lower your tolerance, right? Because there's never a bad thing that can come from giving your body a cleanse, right? Tillray drink would help with sleep. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be on multiple. Yeah, CBD, exactly, and like CBD has good healing properties and the other cannabinoids, but like I said, I'm just taking the old El Natural, just letting my body do its thing, and I just don't want to introduce. I've been getting this weird itch as well, which is why I think it might be attributed to MJ. So ever since I took the C19 vaccine, and I didn't want to take it, I took it because of various reasons. I was traveling at the time, and I couldn't even go back to my own province and visit my family unless I had it. And so anyway, long story short, I got it. Didn't want it, but I got it. And immediately after, probably like a week or so later, after I got the shot, I started getting chronic hives and itching from head to toe. Like my eyeballs would get itchy, like my head would get itchy, my legs, my feet, everything. It'd feel like I had I've never had sinuses, allergies or sinus issues or anything like that. I've never been allergic to anything. And when I did that 5 months, no drinking, no MJ, I realized that right after, as soon as I started smoking, and it was specifically the smoking aspect, as soon as I lit up a joint, like 5 minutes later, I started getting uncontrollably itchy. And so I'm pretty sure it's either the MJ. You can develop, allergies to anything, especially when you're older. And I'm in my mid-30s, so it would make sense in terms of timing. But yeah, it could be. I was even having a chat with Grok AI about it, And, you know, the AI was saying it, you know, it is possible to develop an allergic reaction to MJ, especially smoking it. It's way different if you do edibles or something, but I'm just doing a complete experiment, no cannabinoids, no nothing. And because that was the biggest clue that I had, that it was attributed to that. Who knows? Maybe it's the C19 shot and the MJ together is some, because it's all like targeting the same part of your immune system. And yeah, I'm not a doctor or anything like that or a scientist, but I was having this long conversation with Grok AI about it, and it very much said to me that it could be the MJ. So I'm just going to take 2 months off, and I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to introduce edibles, and I'm going to see, do maybe a couple gummies, maybe a drink, but I'm just going to introduce one form factor at a time, one category at a time, and then I'll see if I get the allergic reaction. Like, I've been to the allergy clinic, I've been to a dermatologist, everything, and no allergy to anything really. Slight to like lobster and shrimp, but like nothing to make me break out in chronic hives, right? So pretty sure it's the MJ in conjunction with potentially the shot, but it seems to me like I'm like 90% sure it's MJ. So we're gonna see, and it could just be the smoking aspect too. So yeah, after a couple months, we'll see how it goes. I'll keep everybody posted. Opinion on Tillray reverse split tomorrow? Yeah, mushrooms. Yeah. I mean, I've done psilocybin before, like microdosing and stuff like that. I think there's a lot. I don't think it's like, well, again, everybody's different, right? It affects everybody different. Like, I don't think it like changed my life, like I woke up and I was just like, whoa, like I'm like a completely different person. Like, it was never that for me. But again, I'm not really like I'm not like an anxious person or a depressed person. Like, I'm very mellow and happy naturally. So if someone is struggling from depression or anxiety or whatever, PTSD or something like that, trauma, then maybe it's a different story. But I've been very fortunate to not really, have that condition, or, nothing too drastic has happened in my life to cause that in terms of like an event. So I don't think it really applies to me specifically, but yeah, I think, there's like just everything in moderation, right? And, not overindulging, kind of just experimenting a little bit. But in terms of reverse split, I do think it'll get passed. I can't see it not getting passed, right? There's a lot of benefits. It's going to bring in institutional investors. Most institutions can't buy unless it's $5 or higher. It's going to cut down on regulatory fees with the NASDAQ. So when you have billions of shares, it costs you, like, it's going to save them potentially millions of dollars with regards to fees on the NASDAQ. And just the optics of it, right? Like, when somebody sees a 40-cent stock or a 50-cent stock, they think that it's financially in trouble, which isn't the case. Like, Tillray's been paying down debt, they've been growing revenue like crazy, and I think they're really starting to turn a page. So cash flow positive will be key, and we'll continue to pay down the debt. And then they talked about potentially doing a share buyback, but again, you want to, with interest rates being the way they are and funding being difficult to do, right? You want to pay down that debt and get rid of those interest rates and interest payments, and just start to become sufficient and not rely on capital injection from borrowers and lenders, and avoid those unnecessary interest payments. But I think they will pass it. Like I said, there's a multitude of reasons why they would, and it's not like Tillray's the only company. Aurora has done 2 reverse splits. Canopy did a reverse split, right? So I think they probably will. I'm into Canara, but Tillray may have more potential. Yeah, Canara, I would love it if Tillray bought Canara, to be honest. That'd be absolutely epic. But yeah, I think Canara Biotech's a great company. I've been making videos for them for like 3 years now, before anybody even knew what they were. I even did like some product reviews videos. So if you just go to my YouTube channel, click on playlist, do product reviews, you'll see all of the reviews there. All right, that was fun. I didn't expect this to be an hour long, but so you never really know what to expect when you hit the live button. But love to see the conversation and the contributions from everybody, as always. Really appreciate it. Aren't they doing a 20-to-1 soon? So they have, the vote is tomorrow. You have until midnight Eastern time to vote. It's going to be a proposal. So essentially, you're voting on the board being able to execute a reverse split 10-for-1 or up to 20-to-1. So if it gets passed, if 90, or well, if the majority vote in favor of, then the board, it'll be up to their discretion. They'll have all the power that they want to do it. They'll be given the green light. They can do a 10-for-1 reverse split or all the way up to 20-for-1. They can't do a 30-for-1, right? Or like a 100-for-1. They only have the approval from shareholders to do a 10-to-1 or a 20-to-1. So it'll be somewhere in that range. But I do think a 20-to-1 will be coming soon. If it gets approved and we find that out tomorrow, maybe late tomorrow or the early Wednesday morning, which is probably when we'll find out, one of those 2 times, the reverse split will probably take effect within a few weeks. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, going to end it there. Hope you have a fantastic evening. We'll see if the Oilers can pull some magic out of their hat and tie this thing up. But not holding my breath, I would say the Panthers are going up 2-1, and Thursday's another day. All right, it's Rod with POW Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, everybody. It was a fantastic chill session, and hopefully get some value out of this today. And yeah, take advantage of POW Algo service. It's only going to get better from here. Have a great night, and we'll see you again on the next video.